Hey, what's up, Fit Fam? Hey, we've made it to the end of December, which means we're at the end of 2023, which means we also have a year of Strength Club under our belts. It's been crazy. I can't believe it's gone pretty fast. Hope you guys are, enjoying the program, getting a lot out of it. And now we're going to move on to our second year of Strength Club. We're here to show you the workout for January 2024. It's kind of crazy to say that, but I want to go over and answer any questions you might have for this. So, you guys know the drill. We're going to start with we have our templates that everybody should recognize. If you're new, we'll show you how to fill those out and make them work for you as well. And then we got a few different phases that we're going to work through there. So we have our ramping to get started, some power development to get everything firing. Then we have our strength sets that will work, and then we're going to finish up with a little bit of metabolic conditioning stuff at the end, obviously to get a nice well-rounded workout here. So we're going to start with our ramping here. Again, this is kind of like an extension of the warm-up where we get to work some core exercises here as well. But we're going to start here with our hangs. Again, I know it's going to be 30 seconds. That's longer than you want to do them, but not as long as you should be doing them. So when you're focusing on what you're focusing on when we're doing our hangs is you're breathing, big deep breaths in through the nose, and then pushing all that air out. Really trying to go as slow with your breathing as you can, using your breathing to help anchor you as you're doing those hangs, and then you use your legs as much as you need to there when you need to. The second exercise, we've matched this up with our band pulse rotations here. So what you'll see here is I'm not going all the way back in, all the way out here. I'm thinking of a nice fast pace where I get that range of motion where I'm going from one hip to the other with those hands here, wall up those abs, and then you're just moving as quickly as you can, but obviously with good form. So you can start slow, and then once you start to recognize what you're doing, you can pick up that pace. We're gonna do a set in one direction, then we'll go back to the hangs, then we'll do a set in the other direction, and this one is surprisingly challenging for that 30 seconds. You really are gonna feel this in your obliques and your abs as we're working this one. So we got 2 sets of those. Then we're gonna move on to our second set of ramping exercises here. We're gonna start with our sandbag open stance hip rock. So really what we're gonna do is we're gonna start from a tall kneeling position here, holding the bag right there at the chest. So from my tall kneeling position, I step up into that open stance, rocking my knee out over my toes with that leg that's moving. I'm rotating through my torso here as well in the direction that I'm rocking. So it's gonna open up those hips a little bit and really work some stabilization muscles here. Take your time, deep breaths as you're working this one. Again, it's not about getting a bunch of reps in. It's really focusing on the range of motion and not letting the heel come up off the floor, obviously, as we're working those ankle rocks there. We're gonna match that up here with our sandbag glute bridge, chop, and lift. It's a lot to say here. So what you see is I'm starting with 2 feet on the floor in that isometric glute bridge here. So holding that glute bridge, tearing that bag apart, and then I'm taking it down toward my hip and then up over my shoulder, working in that diagonal pattern. Now, if you can also work that iso glute bridge and then that chop and lift, rotating to that raised leg side here and then up over that shoulder. And then the second set, you would do the other leg if you're so inclined there. You can also start with the single leg bridge and then go to the 2-legged bridge when you feel like you need to, or just work that 2-legged bridge, but focus on tearing that bag apart, working that diagonal pattern. Again, we're not rushing through it. We're taking our time as we're rotating through here, keeping those hips driven up toward the ceiling, glute squeeze nice and tight there. So we got a couple sets of those 2, and then we're gonna move on to our power development out here. Now, what we're gonna do this month is something new. Some of you have worked these with us before, but we're gonna put these 2 exercises together in a way that a little bit more unique to what we do at Strength Club than what we've been doing at Strength Club. So for this one, we're working our kettlebell assisted single arm clean here. So what we mean by assisted is how you get your hands placed here, and I'm gonna use both arms. So as you can see, as I get started, the hand of the arm I'm gonna be pulling my kettlebell to is the overhand grip. After that, so I'm grabbing the kettlebell right here with my right arm. I'm then using my left hand over top my right hand, just for a little assistance to control that kettlebell, because you want to work with the weight that's challenging, because you want 5 good reps here, and then you're gonna rack that kettlebell, and we call this the rack position, holding it right there at your shoulder, and then you're gonna rack carry across the floor here. So in this video, you can see I did 5 assisted cleans to one arm, Then I'm gonna rack, and that last rep, I'm gonna hold at the shoulder, and now I'm doing my rack carry down the floor. Walking like there's a 2x4 between those feet, so you're not walking like a lady, you're walking like a dude as you're doing this. Abs walled up tight, pulling that kettlebell down, pulling that shoulder down and away, locking in those lats. You're making yourself nice and rigid here. You wanna be intentional with how rigid you're gonna feel here. When you get down to the other side, you're gonna switch hands. You're gonna do 5 assisted cleans to the other side. Then you're gonna rack carry it back down to the other end. So that's one full set there. Again, as you can see here, I'm using those hips. Now, as opposed to a clean that we have done in boot camps where we do that dead stop clean and just pull it from the center, we're gonna incorporate that back swing here to really drive that power through those legs as well. So same setup as a kettlebell swing, hiking it back, cleaning it, rack carrying it, then taking it back the other side here. As we go through the video again, I want to pay attention again to the back swing and how we park the kettlebell each rep. This is very intentional here. I want you to be very intentional with the tension and the power you're putting into this. So we park it each time. I'm going to switch my hands here. So now my left hand's over top, my right hand's underneath, and I'm driving through those heels. Squeeze those glutes tight at the top, abs walled up on each clean. Again, challenge yourself with the weight if this is a new exercise to you, which is gonna be a lot of you. It's okay to start a little bit lighter and get comfortable with what we're doing, but don't be afraid once you got that movement pattern down, don't be afraid to challenge yourself with some heavier weight. We can always make adjustments as we're working this, but this is a great combination here. We're gonna get 2 to 3 sets in. Again, some of you will be able to get 3 sets in a certain amount of time with this one, just depends on how quickly you're moving. So we'll see what we can get out of that this month as well. Now, from there, we're gonna move on to our strength sets. And this month, we're gonna be working our 5 to 8 rep range on our strength circuit here. So we got 4 exercises and 2 upper body, 2 lower body exercises. So we're gonna kind of alternate between them. And we're gonna work that 5 to 8 rep range, which means I wanna find a weight that's challenging that I can do 5 good reps, but maybe do a 6th rep, but it might not look the best. And then I want to take that weight, and over the course of the month, maybe I can turn that into an 8 rep weight. As I get started, I take that weight, and if I can do 7 or 8 reps in that first set, in that first day, I want to take the weight up and find what's challenging for 5 and then build to 8. So we'll try to help you with this. Again, you have to want to do this to get the most out of it. So the goal is not to find an 8 rep weight. The goal is to find your 5 rep weight and keep practicing until it becomes your 7 and 8 rep weight. So we use the extra reps to find out if we're getting stronger, if we can go heavier here. So if you can do 8 reps of a weight, consider taking that weight up because we want to challenge ourselves for 5 reps and we have that flexibility there as well. So the 4 exercises we're going to be working here, we have our dumbbell incline bench press. So this is both arms, they're going to be working at the same time. So we get that incline. It's a slight incline of the bench here. It's not like a steep incline. And both hands up. Remember now we're going to pull down, squeezing those shoulder blades, focusing on keeping the wrists over your elbows. As you're pulling down here, pulling down under the armpits toward the chest, not over your face or your shoulders here. Wall up those abs and then drive those shoulders into the bench to press those dumbbells up. And then we're gonna do 5 to 8 reps. So again, as you get, if I can press this weight for 8 reps on that first set, I'm gonna try taking it up. Right there was 30s. I tried to take it up to 35. If you can do 35s, take it up to 40. Every day's not gonna be the same, that's okay, but don't be afraid to challenge yourself there, and a coach will be there to spot you as well. Our second exercise here is our deadlift, so you can work the trap bar or the kettlebells. Right here we have Coach Matt demonstrating that trap bar deadlift. Look at a nice straight back, neutral spine here, shoulders down and away, thinking about bending that bar in half, squeezing those oranges in your armpits, driving through those heels, chest up, front, drive through those heels, squeeze those glutes nice and tight. Now you can also do the kettlebell deadlift here if you'd prefer as well. It really is up to you. You can mix this up if you've been doing the trap bar deadlift for a few months now and you just need a change of pace. Sometimes working the kettlebells and trying a double kettlebell or a heavy single kettlebell deadlift can be a nice change of pace as well. So that's up to you. You don't have to use the trap bar. But again, with the deadlifts, this is another exercise where I encourage you at first, don't be afraid to go a little bit lighter. Don't worry. I'd rather you kind of ease into the deadlifts because they're a total body exercise. It's a lot of work for the central nervous system and it's work on that low back. So we want to keep ourselves safe. Don't be afraid to start a little bit lighter and then see if you can take that weight up. Again, this is one of those places where the exception to the rule is, don't force that heavy weight for 5 reps. Give yourself time to get comfortable with it, but just you manage your limits there and let us help you with that as well. Our third exercise is going to be our sled rope pull. So you got Coach Matt over here, knows how he's sitting back. So that rope's kind of holding up a little bit and he's reaching across his body. So he's rotating and he's pulling as he's reaching. And that's how we're gonna get some core work in here as well and really get a little bit of momentum again coming with us. So it's not just a strict pull with the rope. We're using our whole body, our whole torso to pull that rope. Those legs are anchoring you there. This is another place where it's hand over hand, taking your time with this. Again, don't be afraid to challenge yourself with the weight. Again, that first set, now this is where we're not really applying a 5 to 8 rep rule. We're thinking about length of the floor. We're gonna get that sled all the way down to the other end of the floor. And then you're just gonna spin it around and the next person will, if they come up to that sled, they'll pull it back down the other direction here. Again, after that first set, if you feel like you can go a little bit heavier, don't be afraid to add some weight to that sled. Also, don't be afraid to take some weight off that sled if you find that felt like it was a little too heavy or not getting that full range of motion. Again, the coaches will be there to help you with that as well. And then our last exercise is our split squats or our rear foot elevated split squats. So obviously we have our traditional split squat from that half kneeling position, that 90-90 position with those legs, driving up through the front leg, pushing up and back through that front leg. Notice on my back leg, I'm pushing up and forward. So both legs are working as I come up to that triangle position here. Obviously, if you need to, you can use the Dow or the TRXs for balance support on this one as well. Adding the weight when you're feeling more stable here is always a nice challenge there. You can use the weight vest, dumbbells, kettlebells. I'm doing a goblet position split squat here as well. Now, the other advancement here is our rear foot elevated split squat. So if you're feeling like you're controlling that split squat with some weight, not losing your balance, you can also try our rear foot elevated split squat. For this one right here, you can see I'm using the bar on the squat rack to support that back foot. And then that puts more weight and more the focus on that front leg. But that back leg, I'm squeezing that back glute nice and tight. Just think about taking my knee down to the floor here and then driving up. Finding your foot placement for this one, the spacing can be a little challenging at first, but the coaches will be there to kind of help you adjust as well. Don't be afraid to try this one if you're feeling strong, but remember, you want to have strong split squats before you go to this one, because if your split squats are feeling a little unstable, this one is really going to kick that up a notch. You can also try a set of these and then maybe move back to the split squats for a second set, or vice versa, warm up with a split squat and then go to your rear foot elevated split squats. But again, no need to make that advancement unless you're feeling comfortable here. The split squat, if that's providing enough of a challenge, that's what we want to work on there as well. So we got 5 to 8 on each leg. And then we're going to work 2 to 4 sets on this workout, on those strength sets. Again, most people are going to be able to get through 2 to 3 sets. Some people might be able to push for a 4th set. It really depends on how you're feeling that day, what you're trying to get out of this. If you feel like you went a little lighter on that first set, maybe try to get a 3rd or that 4th set in to get that weight where you want it to be, really feel like you got that challenge out of those muscles. Now remember, 2 to 4 sets means we want really 2, maybe 3 heavy sets and 1 set that is something to focus on, maybe your warm up, where you're focusing on your form first, getting comfortable. Take that weight up on that 2nd or 3rd set and try to challenge yourself there. But again, depending on how you're feeling each day, don't be afraid to take that weight back a little bit in order to make sure you're doing everything well and feeling great right now. So those are our strength sets. Then we're gonna move on to a quick metabolic conditioning finisher here. So we have our chin-ups, because I always like to practice those in each workout if we can, and we can. So we're gonna go 5 to 10 reps here. I like to start, now we're doing the chin-ups and the Echo Bike. You can start with the Echo Bike if you want, but what I like about this combination is with the chin-ups, you have that energy there and the focus to challenge yourself with the chin-ups. You see Coach Matt here, shoulders down and away. He's working that supinated grip, that chin-up grip here, pulling that bar down to him, which is obviously going to pull his chest up to that bar here. Deep breath in on the way down, push that air as you drive up. And this is a challenging exercise. I want you to be able to challenge yourself with it. You're going to do 5 to 10 reps, which means don't stop at 5 if you can do 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. And if you can do 8, 9, or 10, maybe consider making it a little more challenging on the next set or the next time you do this workout, right? But I like starting with this because you have that focus and you want to get the most out of it. Then we're going to head over to the Echo Bike for 5 calories. There's Coach Matt again. He can't get enough of this stuff. He's going to be pushing and pulling here. We're going to go for 5 calories. I like this second as well because once you're done, you can kind of sit there for a second and then give yourself that time to recover. But challenge yourself. Obviously, you can slow it down if you need to here. So we're going to do 5 to 10 chin-ups, 5 calories on the bike. We're going to work 2 to 3 sets. Everybody will be able to get 2 sets in. Someone who really wants to push hard and has the time can go for a 3rd set. Hell, you can go for a 4th set. You know, you can stay for the next hour after the session and do as many chin-ups in Echo Bike as you want. I'm not even gonna make that promise to you because sometimes I have places to go. But if you're into this, maybe you can talk me into it. Okay. Yeah, that's it for this workout. That's awesome. So I'm really excited about this one. Hopefully you guys have, if you have any questions, reach out to us. Hopefully this gives you a little bit more insight into what we're doing, gives you a little bit more of get you started on the right foot for that session. But please let us know if you have any questions. We want to answer those questions for you, and we'll see you at the gym soon. Love you, bye.